All right, y'all. I'm trying to set this up on Zoom and YouTube. Y'all just bear with me 1 second. We'll be ready. It's connected with the YouTube feed now. All right, there we go. I'm trying to set this up on hold on. Let me mute that. Zoom and YouTube. Y'all just bear with me 1 second. We'll be ready. It's connected with the YouTube feed now. That YouTube. All right, let's do this. All right, family. It's your main man, Dr. Life in the business of saving lives. Um, what I'm about to show you here is really a response to a challenge that my wife gave me some years ago. Um, my wife has always been challenging me to take the lead in coaching this team to victory. We call it have life coaching. The husbandman came and said, I came that you might have life and have it abundantly. And my wife has always expected that I will fulfill the role of the husbandman in this family. And if the husbandman came that we might have life and have it abundantly, I came to set the captives free. My wife has always challenged me to fulfill the role of the husbandman and have life coach this team to victory. Have life coach this track team to run the race as one who was going to receive the prize. That's what Paul said. I run the race as one who is going to receive the prize. Meaning I ain't just aimlessly running out here. I'm not running off the track. I'm not none of that. I'm running like I'm coming in first place. I'm running so that I'm gonna get the gold medal. All right. So I'm about to show y'all a proposal. I'm about to show y'all a proposal about my wife was feeling as if our communities, communities of color, are always left behind because other communities can come to the United States of America, pull resources together, come together in family groups, pool their money, pool their credit, pool their network together, and then create a pipeline of ascension that for generations they continue and they continue and they continue and they continue. Um, I was talking with my Uncle Gene the other day, who was over at a property helping us clean up a property that I'm gonna get to in here, and he was talking about how 40 years ago, 40 years ago, our brown brothers and sisters in Trenton, New Jersey, came and settled in a spot called Chambersburg, and the same companies, the same people that came years ago in Chambersburg, that came over here from Guatemala and came over here from Mexico and came over here from all of the Central American and South American countries. What he was saying was there's construction projects going on over there, but so they have skills in those areas, but the economy is not stable with all of the conflict between the warlords and the drugs and all of that. So the safety is not there. So they come here already skilled and craftsmen to be able to do construction. And he said the same individuals who 40 years ago, 30 years ago, Now they own all of the major construction companies, and they still bringing their people over. So now they have an infrastructure together of individuals who own the major infrastructure for construction. You got companies that are 30 and 40 years old. So if you need concrete, they have within their network someone who 3 generations ago came over. They do concrete, you need steel, you need whatever. And then you still got the craftsmen coming over now. They still pulling together in crib houses. So they dominating in the real estate market because they put together a network and a pipeline. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to show you guys the proposal for our pipeline and our network. This is the response back to my bride. This is a response back to this is in honor of my grandfather, Frank E. Leggett Jr. This is in honor of his wife, Aura Lillian Leggett. Frank E. Leggett Jr. was able to flip, what I call it, flip the slums. They lived in the projects in Trenton, New Jersey. All right, Frazier Home. And the home that I'm about to show you is up for sale right now. And this proposal is a proposal to use this platform that my grandfather built, L&W Enterprises, an investment group. He died prematurely. He wasn't able to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together, so the family kind of lost the business. But he started an investment company with a portfolio. He was a construction company, and he was a contractor. He did everything. Him and his partner, they was doing everything. Now I'm coming to a group, a consortium, just like 40 years ago in Chambersburg. I'm gonna lay this on you, and I'm gonna put this proposal on you, and I'm gonna give each and every one of y'all the opportunity to sit at the table of a literal investment group. All right, so on the screen you're seeing, this is a cover letter for the proposal. This is an investment group, and when I go through the proposal, I'm gonna go through an executive summary, the approach and the concept, the development vision, the experience and the capacity of this group to be able to carry out that which it does, and then all of the things that this investment group can do that no other investment group can do. That's what this is. All of these points are the various, this is not your run-of-the-mill real estate investment group. What this is community development. Edwin is a gentleman that I work with. And all of these points are points that we can solve and cycles that we could break within our community by pooling our resources into this investment group. So what you need to know before I get into the actual proposal is this. In 2008 and 2009, 2008 and 2009, we had a financial crisis that exploded the homeless population in the United States of America. Every major city across the country, from New York to LA, Oakland, to Chicago, to Orlando, every major metropolitan city in the country has that, especially in LA, especially in Seattle, especially in New York. They have the highest amount of homeless population this is prior to 2020. At the same time, billionaires and millionaires like Robert Kiyosaki made more money in 2008 and 2009 after the crash than they ever made in their life. Why? Because when the people on the bottom who haven't prepared lose everything, the price of everything drops. And then those who are prepared come in and they get it at pennies on the dollar. And then when the new people come in who weathered the storm, who held on to their jobs or whatever, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, when they looking for a housing or they looking for whatever, they're going and they're buying the stuff from the billionaires and the millionaires who scooped up everything when everything was dirt cheap. And if 2008 and 2009 was bad, what's about to happen after this presidential election goes on and after the dust settles in 2021, all of the financial carnage from 2020 is going to show up. The pandemic, the stock market crashed worse than its crash past before when the Great Depression. The only reason you don't feel it and see it is because they started printing fake stimulus money. And the moment that the election is over and all that, and they let things get back to how they normally revolve, you're going to see all of the ramifications. And so what this group is doing is pulling individuals together and pulling the resources together, preparing so that when they say, yo, we got the economy on life support, whoever this president is, when they go to whether it's the current president reelected or a new president, they're going to be like, okay, we taking it off life support. Now, the person who runs the country is going to have to manage, and it's going to be a lot of people who are going to be homeless. It's going to be a lot of people who are going to lose their homes. It's going to be a lot of people who are going to need transitional housing. So what this is not just a real estate investment. This is community development that profits from the command of you give them to eat. This is the feeding of the 5,000. Okay? This is the feeding of the 5,000. Let me show it to you. Share my screen again. Let's go to the proposal. So here is the proposal. All right. So that graphic over there to the right, it says Havillah Road, Havillah Coins. That's just letting you guys know that embedded in this proposal is already built in the brand new currency that they have going on, the brand new economy. When the dust settles, they're going to switch from one economy to the other economy, a new digital economy. And what we're showing you is we're already prepared. We're already ahead of the grade, ahead of the cut. We'll come back to the Havillah Road. Wise as the old owl, plus the have life gold child. That's a quote from Nas's song. Whose world is this? Wise as the old owl, plus the gold child. L&W Enterprises. That was my grandfather's and grandmother's real estate business that we're resurrecting. We call it Archangel Investment. So this is the cover letter. So basically, we're submitting. This is an opportunity for you to join a group that is in partnership with an organization down in Orlando, Florida called Ray of Light. And Ray of Light has flipped the investment model for us because usually individuals get started here in the United States and then go to third world countries to take the resources from the US there to the third world countries and then support the third world countries from the home base here in the first world in the United States. Well, Ray of Light Community Development Centers. Ray of Light is a developer who develops Ray of Light Community Development Centers. And their very first development center was developed in Zimbabwe, Africa. And if you know anything about Zimbabwe, years ago, Zimbabwe's economy crashed. More recently, Venezuela's economy crashed. And at the height of a financial crisis, Ray of Light was able to go and not only minister in Zimbabwe, but through private funding, through partnerships and collaborations, and a strategic business deal and arrangement with a technology company that was doing business there, and a member who was a part of the Ray of Light church community there in Zimbabwe. So this elder was also an owner of a technology company. And so because he was doing business, big business in Zimbabwe, he also wanted to bless his community. And then Pastor Lewis, who created the Ray of Light Community Development Center, had the vision to put all of the components in place to be able to service the community with a cafe, with a state-of-the-art technology center, community center, with a food service, like pantry, kitchen, of course, a full service church there. And so they have been supporting annually, once, twice a year, going back and helping to expand the vision of the Ray of Light Community Development Center in Zimbabwe. Simultaneously, the same I'll come down here. The same Ray of Light Community Development Center also happens to be my pastor in Orlando, Florida. So right next to this is a current building that we're in the process of developing right now. So the same thing that Ray of Light has given to Zimbabwe, Africa, we found the poorest most abandoned city. I'm in part of Orlando, Florida, which is the Paramore community. Paramore is pretty much Skid Row for Orlando, west of I-4. This is the actual church that we worship in now, and the building far off right here is the building that we have invested in and are developing right now to convert. There's nobody in it. It's been abandoned. It's been abandoned for years. Homeless people sleep in the back of it, all of that. But with so many people coming in and out of prison, the development project is turning this into a multi-purpose transitional housing. Upstairs, it's places where people can stay in transition once they get out of jail, reunite with their families, have an address, have a stable place to go where they can get all of the services that they need to stay clean, get jobs, get prepared for re-entry. This is what the building looks like. This is the other side. This is where all of the people from underneath a bridge across this street, they come and sleep. That is what it looks like. And this is what it's going to look like when we're finished. We've already met with the architects. We've already had the designs drawn up. Already met with the owner. Already met with the city to get all of the fines and the codes and everything. This is what, and you see, it's going to have a cafe. It's going to have wholesome. These are the schematics. This is what it's going to look like upstairs, level 2. So the families that are reuniting with their kids. This is an ongoing project right now. We're in the middle of this. All right. This is not some thing we wish to do. Ray of Light already it has experience in developing these things, finishing them to completion and following up and ongoing, keeping them going. And this is just another project. But now we have our eyes set on a new project in Trenton, New Jersey. And what's unique about Trenton is so many of my relatives that I come up with. I'm definitely sending this out to my cousin Peanut. We talked extensively about getting crews, and Peanut already has individuals approaching him for housing. He just needed a crew. Well, the project that we're renovating right now, just like this in Trenton, New Jersey, is 25 Braffman Drive. It's completed. It's on the market, and there is a bid on it, but I'm about to put a separate bid on it. And this separate bid is going to be in order to launch these projects in any place in the country. This is going to be the unifying project. Ray of Light did this one separate. I didn't have to put any funding there. I'm just a part of the church. I'm the community outreach leader, so I'm there. This is the first project where this investment company is going to take the lead so that we can do this all around the country and provide this type of housing, this type of transitional housing for our people, and then also redevelop the residences all over the city. So not only are we going to do the transitional housing, we're also going to have a crew dedicated to flipping the residential houses that we will get and rehabilitate. And then when they finish the transitional housing, then they can move into the residential units that we develop. Once again, it's an ascension program. So we started off talking about how the other communities, they come together and we're doing the same thing. The only thing is we focusing on creating, since the need is going to be so great after 2021, we're focusing on having a transitional unit that they can come into. And then once we get them all of the resources that they need, their finances back straight, we can then take them and find one of our residential units. This is an example of us working in the community in Atlanta to get people.
If you are a VA or what kind of program you get with, it's usually between 41% and 45%. All right? So we're going to do 41%. 41% of Damon's $3,000 income. Let me get some reaction on those numbers. What is 41% of $3,000? It's about $1,400. First we're saying 14. What you got? 12. We need somebody to cross verify that. Because we all about facts here.
1230.
1230. You got 1230. Okay, so they're saying that 41% of your income, Damon, $3,000 a month, he cannot exceed housing payments plus all other debts. And you know what all other debts are, right? What do you think all other debts are? Car payment, loans, credit cards, student loans. So let's say an average car payment is what? $400 a month, right?
So what you're looking at is, for over 20-something years, my brother has been helping our people in communities where they're fighting against gentrification and being pushed out, where they're taking over our communities and they're pushing our people out. And my brother has been coming in, taking our people, having our people sit down and train them on how to get their finances straight and how they can
Here's
get their own properties and stay in our
backyard, so to speak.
This is my brother Edwin, by the way. Yes. So this y'all backyard. Y'all been here since '89.
Since 89.
Giving this community access to what? What you give them
To being community involved, to ownership, to financial literacy, things to improve, our legacy in our lives.
All right.
So we have festivals back here in the summer. It's called the
That's beautiful too, man.
the Wheelbarrow Festival. It's also a backyard basketball.
Oh man, it's my home right here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be coming up, seeing you guys, bro. Talk about that gentrification piece you were telling me about yesterday, though. That's important.
As far as gentrification, in definition, is just neighborhoods that are being changed through new residents. And basically the traditional residents, or the people who have been in a community for such a long time, are not a part of that rebuilding or success or the redesign of that new neighborhood.
Right.
So the community that we're in is Reynoldstown, which is one of the oldest communities in Atlanta.
right? And then I'm gonna show you one other thing.
Only right for me to feel like.
Oh, so okay, so understand what I'm explaining to you is we're putting it together. We have put together an LLC. This means multiple members can sit at the table. And the greatest component about a investment group like this is leveraging funds to be able to, based off of the entity, not the individuals, the entity itself, to be able to go and acquire properties and then renovate the properties and then make them available to those who need them, whether it's transitional, whether it's rental, whether it's investment, whether it's a quick flip, whatever. All right. So this is what this proposal is. I am proposing to everyone who I'm sending this to for you to be a part of the investment group that receives a return on your contributions to the pool as a whole, and everybody contributes. You determine how much you can invest above the threshold, which I'll get into when I contact you directly. And this is for individuals who look into, instead of just having money sitting, and is in order to have your money grow at 25%, 30%, 40%, 50% that you can't get anywhere else, you can't get it in the bank. Individuals who want to see, instead of their money just sitting while you're doing what you normally do to bring in your money, instead of just parking it into the bank, you can park it into a secure vehicle that is an investment trust that is using the pool of resources to leverage credit and finance properties to be able to deliver affordable housing at a time of crisis. This is what this proposal is about. We've completed a project in Zimbabwe. We're actively doing Orlando, Florida, and we're making a move to secure funds for the first time through this investment group for a property in Trenton, New Jersey, 25 Braffman, that has a full team, that has a realtor, that has an attorney, that has a demolition crew and a construction crew, that once we turn this on in New Jersey and Orlando, we can do projects up and down the East Coast with both of these crews. And now that we have the investment group there, now we can go and select projects in any city, finance them, and then create a crew there that has a realtor, an attorney, a demolition crew, and the contractors to do the work, which we have in. Also, we have an architect. That's where the schematics come from. We have an architect in New Jersey, and we have an architect in Orlando that we work with. So we have all of the components of the team. We just need to put together the financial apparatus to be able to turn on the Ascension program in the pipeline. Got it? Okay. So this model is not being used. The model that I'm suggesting of investing to serve and first, profit second, very few people are using this model. But this is proof that it works. Former LA Laker, NBA champion with Kobe and Shaq, Devin George, former Los Angeles Laker, Devin George, applying the same identical proposal that I'm laying out for you.
I took advantage of free lunches. I was always in the financial aid. I was one that took from these opportunities. And so it's only right for me to feel like I need to refill these pots back up. So started my nonprofit Building Blocks. I'm a retired NBA veteran. I now do community work and real estate development. Everyone has humble beginnings. We're going to North Minneapolis, where I was born and raised. Yeah, just right here in the corner. This is where my dad still lives. This is the house I grew up in. The neighborhood had a lot of obstacles. There's crime, obviously, drugs. The overall goal is to get the families out of survival mode. Housing is the foundation with everything. One thing isn't going to just change it all, but as you start to see 3, 4, 5 kids starting to change, get opportunities, 3 or 4 families starting to change, their income's changing, they're buying a house. That's the ripple effect that happens. And then they pass it on. People are more excited about this building I put up, more so than anything that I've done on the basketball court.
I'm a single mom with 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys.
I have a resident, Maisha, that's in the building right now, went through a divorce, lost a job, had a real life situation stuff come up.
For me, affordable housing means it's an opportunity to start over in life again. It doesn't mean that you're below anyone else. It just means that you're going through something or transition in life, and it gives you a stepping stone to be able to build over again.
Take a deep breath, have a place where kids can go.
It has a co-op. I can go right downstairs and get fresh fruit, fresh vegetables to juice up.
It's a special project, the co-op grocery store, that is up and running and going. When you have an underserved community, it's stressful. And so I started my grocery store in a food desert place where we can kind of at least get the ball rolling. And now coming up, she's moving out of the building and she's buying a house.
I'm in the process of buying a house again, and it feels so good.
When I drive up and see the building, it gives me purpose. This is where it goes down at. And now after the programs, I know what this guy wants to do. I know what she wants to do. Are you on the right path of doing that? Ty, he reminds me of myself, of just kind of how focused I was, driven, good attitude. Honor roll Emmett, that's his new nickname, because he's getting good grades.
I feel like this building will help me. It'll help me succeed my dreams.
Well, he's in a tough situation, but he's excelling.
I feel like good going in there. I don't have no worries.
Ty's getting recognized for being an outstanding student. I want you to have this Building Blocks Character Award with your name on it.
If I'm having a hard day, it cheers me up. The members cheer me up a lot and stuff. So that's why I like it, because it's supportive.
I wanted to make sure you knew that I see what you're doing and I know what you're doing, so I want you to keep doing it. That's what Building Blocks is about, is dreaming about doing whatever it is you want to do and staying on path.
Dreaming of being in my own home, dreaming of having a good, stable job, dreaming of making sure that I'm able to provide for them.
It's helping me a lot now to learn, because I'm learning new things every day from it.
You can actually spread your wings and fly.
It warms my heart because I know this building is a sign of hope and help.
So there you have it. All right, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just one small component. Oh man, hold on, my fault. My bad. So that's just one tip of the iceberg to where we can go with this investment group. I'm gonna pause right here. I don't want it to be too long. I want y'all to check them out, but that's the gist of it. And I'm gonna show you a very, very important component around something that my family did. My father and I, when the whole coronavirus started going, we started meeting on a Zoom meeting, and we were just talking about looking for properties for the family, where we could control our own destiny, plant food, all of that type of stuff. So my father was taking the lead in trying to find a family property where we would have enough land to where we could invest in, and then we could grow our own food. So if we ever ran into a crisis like this and they were shutting down Walmarts and shutting down food supplies, we would not be at the mercy of the powers that be. Then a video surfaced, and I have been doing research for the past 3 years on the digital currency and the new technology called blockchain technology. This is really Internet 3.0, okay? It's Internet 3.0 that allows you to be separate from the traditional monopolies. All right, so understand, if you're going to get any funding or whatever, you have to go through the Federal Reserve Bank, you got to go through 6 major banks, and then all of the little banks got to go through them. So it's centralized. Financial power is centralized. On the internet, if you're going to have an app, you can only go to 2 places. That's a monopoly. You either go to Apple and you download your app, or you go to Android and you download the app. So people who create apps and create their business around their apps, they have 2 pools that they have to go into to deal with to be able to get to the consumer. They have to go through Apple or they have to go through Android. Android created the language. So if you're creating an app and you want to get to Android phone users, you have to deal with the people who control the language and the code for Android. Same thing with Apple. That's centralized power. That's centralized wealth. What the new economy says is we're going to create something that's decentralized, so a couple major players don't control the finances and don't control what happens on the internet as far as business is concerned. So in 2020, a major thing happened with the new currency on the digital blockchain economy. Supply and demand, they cut it in half. So I had a video and I played it for my family, and my family got together and they started a fund. We started an investment fund. And we've been faithfully investing, and other people have been faithfully investing in the fund. And people have been getting trained daily, getting the information for this new blockchain economy, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple, and all of these are other currencies on the new technology that our people have no clue about. So when you add the components that we're adding, real estate, community development, service, and finances, we're becoming our own bank. We already have the fund. We're turning the fund into a bank to be able to fund community development, service, investment, all of that. So when I come back, I'm going to explain to you this fund, this blockchain technology, and this new currency. And then you're going to have an opportunity to sit at the table with an investment group that already has funds in these currencies. And in the future, when you add to the fund, everybody's going to get a percentage of that which the fund does when it provides housing to people when they go through the transitional housing, then they're looking to buy a home, boom, we just sold a home. Or then when they go and they rent. And so I'll explain it in the other video, but it's a very exciting time, and hopefully you'll join us on this journey.